Well, Wales made 3 changes from last week's quarter-final against England. Kevin Phillips for Alan Phillips at hooker, Hugh Richards for Bill Norster in the second row, Phil Davis for Gareth Roberts, who broke his nose against England, at number 8. There are 5 players with 4 caps or less. The New Zealanders made only 1 change from the quarter-final. Michael Jones won't play on Sundays for religious reasons. Mark Brooke-Cowden plays his first game in the World Cup instead at wing forward. The All Blacks had notched 32 tries before this game. Grant Fox had scored no fewer than 92 points by himself. The match in Brisbane, and the commentators Bill Beaumont and Nigel Starmer-Smith.
The semi-final is underway through Paul Thorburn.
Now,
immediately Grant Fox, using the wind, using it well. And there's the man who's already scored 92 points in this World Cup. First line out. Gary Whetton, number 5 for New Zealand, alongside Richard Moriarty. And Wayne Shelford, you can see, has moved up in the line to mark alongside Paul Moriarty. And swiftly through, it's Shelford already. That tremendous drive and surge that characterised New Zealand's play. Hadley it was who bravely came in with the tackle, and it's well won back to Jonathan Davies.
Well, it just shows the awesome power of the All Blacks. So the Welsh forwards will be pleased that they pinched that ball, and it just shows that the All Blacks weren't there in number, and the coach, Brian Lahore, must be a little bit, well, not worried because it's early days yet, but it just shows the awesome power of these All Blacks.
New Zealand's throw through Sean Fitzpatrick. 2 Wet brothers, 5 and 6. Twins. Back from Paul Moriarty, but Wales are judged offside. And it's a penalty. And a chance for Grant Fox. So there's the distance. Grant Fox, one of 10 players from the Auckland province. Well, let's have a look closely here for the infringement.
And you see as the ball comes, it's lobbed up. And in actual fact, I think it's Richard Moriarty who is penalised there. You can see his left arm, but he certainly impeded Gary Whetton there, and the referee quite rightly to give a penalty.
So just 2 minutes of the match played. 24-year-old who took over from Botica as first 5/8 in the New Zealand side. Has a difficult win to contend with, but it's largely behind New Zealand in this half. Already scored 26 points in one game in this match and 22 in the other 3 in this series. What a kick. But off the post, the wrong side. Wales on their own line, and Robert Jones has in fact carried it over his own goal line to concede a 5-metre scrummage put into New Zealand. Fox so close. So here's David Kirk, the All Black skipper, for the first scrummage. The weight's still on. Shelford poised to take. Held up by Wales. Still possession at the All Blacks' feet, and they get another scrummage. Number 6, Alan Whetton, for Murray Pearce. So again, it's David Kirk, the man who took over from Andy Dalton as captain on the field. And again, All Blacks, awesome power. Shelford, can they keep him out? He's made it. And Brian Lahore looks on for the perfect start for New Zealand. Wayne Shelford, his first try of the tournament, and coming 4 minutes into the first half.
You can see how the scrum had wheeled round that. It made it very difficult for the Welsh back row. You can see that they're facing 4 or 5 All Blacks, and no problem at all there for number 8, Wayne Shelford, to score. We see it coming again, that unlike most European sides who would delay the extra push, the All Blacks pushed immediately the ball came in. And as the ball slewed line, it's no problem at all for Wayne Shelford with the weight coming behind him to score the try.
The man who's taken over the famous role of Murray Mexted in New Zealand colours. This is sixth international. Scored a try against France last year. But that's his first in the World Cup. Grant Fox to make it 6-0. With consummate ease. So already the realisation of the scale of the problem confronting Wales today. We've played 5 minutes of this first half. And first blood for New Zealand. Thorburn restart. Once again. Mark inside his own 22, of course. Again, accurate long line kicks using the wind. A curious fact about Wales' side is that not one of the 15 on the field was born when Wales last beat New Zealand, and they've got a massive task today. But that's good work by Buchanan. The drive in touch.
You have to give the Welsh forwards a lot of heart there, because obviously conceding a pushover try isn't the best thing in the early minutes of the game, and Buchanan certainly had a good little run, and that'll give them a lot of heart that the All Blacks, can be run at.
Halfway line. Whetton in the middle. Fox clean through to Stanley. Strong running. Support inside from Green. On goes Whetton. The drive now by McDowell. Back inside Wales 22. That power again. This is Kirwan. It looks dominant.
Looks that indeed for Wales, and that is traditional All Black play, that they get quick ball. They've got a strong centre in Joe Stanley, and he just punches up the middle, and you have the whole of the forwards running in support. Traditional All Black play, but more worrying from the Welsh point of view is that there's an injury at the moment to prop forward Anthony Buchanan.
Buchanan on the receiving end of that All Black force. And there, Joe Stanley, this is his 11th international. Powerful run, and look at the support play at all times. Craig Green it was to pop it inside, and the forwards are there now. Gary Whetton it was, linking on through. And prop forward Steve McDowell. Courageous Welsh defence, and that was where Buchanan got injured, as he stemmed the tide, but not for long, because Kirk was on hand, Kirwan outside. Beautifully picked it up. And Thorburn, with support from Hadley, managed to force him out, but only about 15 metres from Wales' line. Buchanan, I'm pleased to say, is back in the fray. Pierced the front jumper, Whetton. Whetton up by Moriarty. His first touch, but through comes Fitzpatrick. Again the drive. Drake is at the spearhead of it. They're over the line. They've got the try. And John Drake, I think, will be the man to be credited with it. So, it's 10 points to 0. And we've played just 8 minutes. John Drake, the prop forward from Auckland.
It was the untidy loose ball here that enabled Drake to pick it up. But just notice how the support comes in behind him. They're not interested in the ball. All they were interested in is driving Drake over the line. And you can see perfect position there to score it. But unfortunately, from Wales' point of view, it came from this badly tapped ball with nobody cleaning up the line out. And just look how quickly these All Blacks are coming through. The ball's made available, Drake picks it up, and there we see perfectly that the support from these All Black forwards. If in doubt, they just put their heads down and just drive the man over the line.
Superb wedge of support there. Sean Fitzpatrick, the man to make it as he came through. And Wales must wonder at this moment what's hit them. 9 minutes played. 10 points to 0, New Zealand's lead. Fox with the conversion attempt. immaculate. And no wonder early anxiety for Tony Gray. Perhaps his worst fears realised in the opening 10 minutes that we've seen in the build-up what New Zealand had to offer, and Wales are now feeling the brunt of this remarkable machine. Fox again.
Yes, I think the Welsh team were hoping to get in amongst the New Zealanders and rattle them early on, and obviously they haven't been able to do this, and it must be very worrying indeed with a quarter now played and find themselves 12-0 down.
Wales cut the line out, trying to use Moriarty at the tail. Robert Jones neatly flicked back inside to Buchanan. Jones again, first real possession. Jonathan Davies' kick rebounds off Drake, and finally off Hadley into touch. It's really just about the first time Wales have had possession and some time to use it. About 10 metres outside, New Zealand 22. Gary Whetton challenged by Moriarty and using a shoulder in the line out. So here's a chance for Wales to get the list of penalty points from Paul Thorburn. This really would be exactly the tonic to allow Wales to settle, for their shattered confidence to be restored.
That's right, because it must be shattered at the moment, because when you see the All Blacks, they're so clinical about everything that they do. Every player knows exactly what his teammate's doing. Their tactics are very simple, but they do it extremely well. So this would be a real boost for Wales if Paul Thorburn could put this one over and give them a glimmer.
Well, looking at the flag, the wind swirling round, but never know a man to do it. Paul Thorburn, 25 points in this World Cup. Struck it well. Unlucky. Just drifted away. An awful wind to gauge, kicking into it. It's slightly diagonal cross field. So 12-0 it stays, 12 minutes played. Drop out by Fox. Tapped by Pierce. Back to Kirk. Green on the narrow side. Touch. Craig Green. Played against England in '83 when New Zealand lost at Twickenham, but he's the only survivor from that game. Scrummage is just outside the 22. David Kirk contesting that the scrummage is screwing around and not steady. Fox. Well, as yet, not a foot wrong, that was inch perfect. In fact, the referee has given the throw to New Zealand. Must have just touched a Welsh player as it went over the line. Moriarty there as Sean Fitzpatrick waits. He was injured in the quarter-final, had 11 stitches, but has resumed his place and keeps Andy Dalton on the bench, the World Cup New Zealand captain. This is Paul Moriarty, but the run was lateral. But now they've set it up well. Robert Jones under pressure, but New Zealand were offside. For Wales relief. Davis. Fine kick. Craig Green trying to keep it in, but it's gone out and has his feet too. Former centre. As the quick throw-in comes, taken by Pierce. Kirk.
certainly there were a couple of punches thrown there from both sides, and I'm more than surprised that the French touch judge, Guy Maret, didn't draw the referee's attention to that one.
Yes, it happened on the far side of the ruck. Moriarty struggling, and Paul, his brother, beautifully fed by Jones to Davies, through to Devereux. In was Taylor with the tackle, good support from Bledinburn. Hadley out on the left, but already they'll come back as the ball had gone forward. Wales first thrust, 1-2, give them half.
There's not many sides have run at the All Blacks in this competition, and I'm certain that Wales, if they can secure good, tidy possession, then it certainly poses them a few threats if they move the ball out wide.
New Zealand speed just inside Wales half. Shelford, a real tiger. Back to Kirk. Fox has drifted right for the cross kick left. Hanging on the 22. Beautifully taken by Devereux. But it's come loose to Kirk, but offside on New Zealand. And at the moment, Brooke-Cowden is in a tussle with Thorburn. And Richard Moriarty at the bottom.
And a super take here by John Devereux, and it's a terrible position this for somebody like a centre, because he can see that the All Blacks are piling in there. He's looking for support. The referee is quite right there to penalise New Zealand skipper David Kirk for offside. And now we see the off-the-ball incident between Richard Moriarty and Brooke-Cowden, the New Zealand flanker.
There's Mark Brooke-Cowden, the one change from the quarter-final. Jonathan Davies into the wind, puts it out on the halfway, and that's useful ground. Minutes into the first half of this World Cup semi-final, and New Zealand in command from the opening, 12-0 ahead. 2 converted tries. Wales now, though, set up something good for Robert Jones. Jonathan Davies. Hadley chases. See how the wind's brought it back. That spells danger. Gallagher comes through. Shelford's there again. Kirk now. Fox. Steaming down there is Craig Green. Covering is Jonathan Davies. Coolly makes time, but the pressure's still on.
It's when you play against the All Blacks, it's just relentless pressure. They don't do anything clever, nothing fancy at all. It's just basic rugby, and they force you to making mistakes.
And it's Fitzpatrick, his father was a former All Black captain himself. His throw. Moriarty Jr. And again, New Zealand caught with obstruction. So a penalty kick. A touch by Jonathan Davies to try and ease the pressure. Brian Lahore looks serious, but I'm sure feeling well pleased with the opening quarter of an hour of the match. But Wales have started to claw their way back after the initial onslaught. Shut down by Whetton. Through comes Phil Davies, but away now to Taylor. Kirwan in the line is caught, but New Zealand set off on the counter-attack. Craig Green from Fox. Ball went forward. Green of Canterbury, 18th international. Problems in the front row on this near side. David Young against Steve McDowell. Referee Kerry Fitzgerald. Asking it to go down again. Just inside Wales half. Jones trying to square it up. Referee comes to the near side to see Young against McDowell. not out.
That has to be offside there against Wayne Shelford. He was certainly stood about 2 yards in the Welsh back row, and
Shelford, infringement, Jonathan Davies, position, and secure again. Well, Wales need now just to keep New Zealand at bay and try and grasp their way back into the match. Two scores coming within the first 9 minutes, but now we're up to the first quarter of the match played, so the last 11 minutes Wales have certainly started to get into it. New Zealand 22. Fox again, neatly, but kept in by Ian Evans. Slice on the full. So disappointment for the Leslie winger. So exactly 20 minutes played. New Zealand 12, Wales 0. Collins at the back, and off goes Paul Moriarty in support. Takes two men out, sets it up well midfield to Jones, Davies, Bowen. Still there for Wales, Paul Moriarty to Devereux this time. The pack in support. But an initial infringement.
I think the
Well, yes, a little unfortunate there. The play wasn't allowed to continue further.
That's right. I felt that they had the advantage there, and the referee should have let it go.
So they have to settle for the set scrum. And it's Wales put in, of course. New Zealand's 10-metre line. I would have thought New Zealand are getting very close to a penalty for shoving before the put-in. But Wales could do with a penalty from this position. The front rows came in, and it looked as though Paul Moriarty took offence at whatever had happened just then. The touch judge had his flag raised, Guy Moret. I think you may have heard number 6. Paul Moriarty is the player to be warned for the punch that went in. Hard to see what has been the cause, but clearly he was incensed by something, but now he's penalised for taking the law into his own hands. Fox. Enormous New Zealand support here. A large local population. No doubt, well, pleased, but we've now played 23 minutes of this first half. The two early tries, but here come New Zealand again. Taylor, Stanley in the line now, the fullback, John Gallagher. Taylor back in support, deeper into the Welsh 22. New Zealand still have possession from Drake. It moves back to Kirk. Fox floats it to Kirwan. Kirwan trying to go outside Hadley and screams home to take it round under the post. John Kirwan has added to Wales' problems, which now reach epic proportions, with a superb sprint to the finish by John Kirwan, one of the stars of the piece in this World Cup.
Wales were always in trouble, and just look at the way how that ball was floated out by Grant Fox, and it enabled John Kirwan to get on the outside of Adrian Hadley, and once he'd managed to do that, then he had no problem at all in going under the post. But really, it was a super pass, floated pass by Grant Fox,
who converts the try to make it 18-0, and this was quick thinking by Fox. And look here how Kirwan takes off, just a little check to try and check Hadley, and looks back to see that he hadn't crossed the touchline, and right round behind the post for his 4th try of the tournament. And the man really who created it, Grant Fox. with that quick thinking. 3 goals to 0, 18 points to 0, 24 minutes played. And at this moment, one has to say New Zealand in every sense looking like world beaters. And Wales on the rack as Brooke-Cowden gets that wedge of support again. The discipline, the support. Kirwan.
It's just a relentless tide of black shirts for the Welsh defenders, and with the law nowadays, they cannot collapse the rolling ball. So it makes it very, very difficult indeed to defend against it.
Again, Wayne Shelford in the van. International appearance. Not an impact he's made. Wales have possession. Jonathan Davis, Devereux. Hadley in. Now Jonathan Davis again. But straight to Shelford. Takes on 1, 2, 3 as the Welshman. Takes them out. Back to Kirk. Fox, Stanley, Gallagher. Gallagher, the fullback. Tackled by Young. About 8 metres from Wales' goal line. And the young Swansea prop did well then to stem the ties. John Gallagher, the new man in all black colours. And there's David Young, the 19-year-old, who, if ever a player's been thrust into the deep end, it's this man. Out here playing in Canberra, and then got the call-up. Well, this is where it started to go wrong, with Jonathan Davis kick virtually straight into the arms of Wayne Shelford. And just look at the power of the man. Almost alone set that up. Stanley, there's Gallagher, nice little dummy, checks back inside Jonathan Davis. Superb effort by Robert Jones and by David Young, who's back on his feet and in the fray. That was a brave tackle by Jones. Wales are 10 metres out. All Black back surge, Jones coolly enough. Following up an outstanding performance he gave here against England in the quarter-final. Patrick on the 22. Whetton. Moriarty in uncompromising fashion. New Zealand still with possession, driven on by Alan Whetton now. With Fitzpatrick the hooker, it's back to Kirk, to Fox. Taylor, Kirwan in from the wing, Kirwan again! Unstoppable John Kirwan of Auckland. And try number 4.
There's no way that you're going to stop this lad when he comes through the middle on the burst. But all the hard work has been done by the forwards. And just look at the power of the man as he goes over. That you've got to admire the way that the All Blacks play the game and they keep the ball available and keep driving.
2 tries by Kirwan in the space of 4 minutes. This 6'3", 14.5-stone man just shrugs off the tackles. Again, brave effort by Robert Jones, but impossible to stop. The injured player is Kevin Phillips, defended by Tudor Jones, and an unrelenting onslaught. Tried his best to down Kirwan on his run. (22-0), 28.5 minutes played. 4 tries, 4 conversions. And that takes Grant Fox's tally up to 100 points in the World Cup.
It's going to be a real test of character now for the Welsh team, because if they glance around at the scoreboard and realise that really the only thing that they can get out of this game now is a bit of pride, and no doubt that's what Richard Moriarty's been saying to the lads. Well, let's give it a go and stick in there.
tried to set it up again, but stoppage. And Wales get the foot into the knock-on. Tony Gray knew that this was a monumental task. And the referee has already spotted the All Blacks offside as Jonathan Davies attacks Thorburn. Ian Evans just carried on the full. Well, the word in Welsh is Calon, and heart indeed is what Wales need now. 165 drive, the call. Front. To Patrick, not 5. Wales up for the scrum in 15. Hooker, Shaw, Fitzpatrick is the man to require attention.
When you just look at the strength of this New Zealand squad, that if it was a bad injury to Fitzpatrick, then they've probably got one of the best hookers in the world in their former captain in Andy Dalton to come on as a replacement, and that just shows how strong they are, that they're just absolutely relentless. They never give you a chance to play. You don't get any breathing space against them.
Superb depth. Unlike Wales, it has to be said that New Zealand have fared much the better in terms of the injury count, which has transformed Wales from their original lineup. Even at the last, players like Bob Norster and Gareth Roberts denied for this occasion. Gets the head. Fox's kick. A teaser. Devereux covering. John Devereux, the 21-year-old. About 6 metres outside Wales, 22. Cannon Whetton in the front. All Blacks throw. Moriarty. Paul Moriarty, the younger brother, winning initial possession. Well, that's one way.
Another facet of the New Zealand game, that if the ball is held in the maul, you notice how they all get in very low and drive in, so that if it comes to a stoppage, then the referee has to give them the put in at the scrum.
And again, the power of the back row in evidence. Alan Whetton at the front of that drive, with Brooke-Cowden the man to file in at the end. New Zealand's heel. On the 22. Fox misses out Taylor straight to Stanley. Kirwan again. Hadley delays the challenge. In comes Gallagher. He's down in no uncertain fashion. And playing the ball after the tackle. Wales get the relieving kick. It's John Gallagher, born in London. This is his 4th international. Jonathan Davies going for the long touch, fine, misses it. Fox sets it up again with Kirk. Well, that's a beautiful way to beat a player. And there he is, back to feed it out to Fox. Gallagher in from fullback. Taylor, Warwick Taylor, most experienced man in the back division. And now the power of Shelford again. Dug out by Kirk, Fox, Thorburn. Outside Wales 22. We've played 34 minutes and New Zealand 24-0 ahead in this first half. side who've already run up a tally in the matches up to this point of 220 points against 36. Only 2 tries against 32 for, and add the 4 more today. 70 points against Italy, 74 against Fiji, 46 against Argentina, and Scotland holding them to 30 points. Jones in trouble as Kirk came round, Whetton diving through, Kirk back there to feed it out, picked up by Warwick Taylor. The tackle by Bowen, and Moriarty's support. Went forward. Delighted despondency in the crowd, depending on the black or the red favours.
Well, certainly the referee's attention should be brought to that, because McDowell certainly kicked young David Young when he was on the ground there. I think McDowell's getting away with murder here, because he's on the Welsh footing. He's certainly lowering the scrum, and that should be a penalty offence every time. So it'll be interesting to see what they do at this scrum.
I think matches look good, Tony Gray.
But he wishes he had the amount of ball that Graham Fox has had today.
And here they come again to Drake, with Moriarty in fact not taking part in that line-out, but New Zealand have it. Fitzpatrick to make it 5, he's held on the line. Kirk goes through, but didn't ground the ball. The one that got away, says Brown Lahore. And Richie Collins is in the wars. And that line-out was quite extraordinary, because it appeared that Richard Moriarty was requiring attention in the field. The referee, I think, had seen it and allowed play to continue. And this was the end result, so nearly a try. Fitzpatrick. And watch here as Kirk goes through. And from this angle we should see that, yes, he does lose possession. And referee Kerry Fitzgerald absolutely in the right spot. Fitzpatrick. And it may be that bad cut has opened again. Just see it there below the eye that he received against Scotland. 11 stitches. Whilst there's still further injury troubles down near that goal line. First to Ian Evans. Well, the banner said it there, All Blacks rule okay, and at this moment indeed they do. Attempted restart with Hugh Richards, the man also requiring attention. The man called up in place of Bob Norster for his 3rd cap. Now the game can recommence. 24-0 it stands. 2 minutes of this first half remain. Close support and drive. Wales buckle. Shelford turns to Kirk. Fox. Intercepted by Devereux. But the referee has called them back as Devereux was streaking home for the first score, adjudging Wales to be offside. So nearly a repeat of his breakaway try against England on this ground in the quarter-final. Read it well, as for once New Zealand hesitated, only cruelly to be called back for an offside decision. There was the floated pass, and there was Devereux away.
I think it was one of those 50-50 decisions there, but I noticed that the referee had his hand half up as soon as he saw that John Devereux was attempting to go for the interception. But little things like that, obviously Wales will feel that everything's going against them now with a decision like that one, and you know, they've just got to hang on in there.
4 out of 4 in his conversion attempt. Now, chance of our first penalty to make it 27 as we come up to the last minute. of this first half, plus a bit of injury time to add on. Grant Fox. Absolutely dead as a die. 27-0. And we're now up to the end of 40 minutes. What a taste of a new experience for each and every one of this Wales side, none of whom has played against New Zealand before. The only man to have done so is sitting on the bench, Alan Phillips. Thorburn, long restart kick. Kirwan. Shortened line, tap back by Whetton, rebounds off for a Welsh player, Paul Moriarty, and a chance perhaps here, something to boost the morale before the half ends. Only about 4 metres out, couldn't slip it away. Wales have the push-in, but can they conjure up something here? Again, it's New Zealand encroaching at the push-in. The referee with words for McDowell, touching and Drake. Not annoyed. Clean strike, but under pressure was Robert Jones.
If Wales haven't been able to secure any worthwhile possession from the scrums, and it must be worrying as the game draws into injury time in the first half.
Line out, cuts the free, Paul Moriarty at the tail, and Jonathan Davies thinks about the drop, but instead puts up to Gary Owen. Gallagher waits. Devereux in with the tackle, but the mark is given. John Gallagher, who came out to New Zealand 3 years ago, Finchley born, he was the man under the pressure for once. Devereux in, but the mark you can see was clearly called. That caused some pain. Player who was a surprise call-up for the All Blacks Tour of France last year as a utility man, played twice in the centre, twice as full-back, and now has really taken over from Kieran Crowley, John Gallagher.
Yes, I don't know what they do with these New Zealand players, but he played one game, I think, for London Irish prior to going out to New Zealand, and he ends up inside 3 years as an All Black. Perhaps we could send a few more there.
He has played superbly well. Opening his tally with 4 tries against Fiji in New Zealand's second game, John Gallagher. Two-man line, pop back to Kevin Phillips from Hugh Richards. Standing off is Buchanan, back inside is Jones, and a penalty with New Zealand fringing. And so, with 3 minutes of injury time played at the end of this first half, Wales bravely go for the try-scoring opportunity. The run round by Robert Jones. Paul Moriarty with a real head of steam up. 4 metres out from the post, it's a better wedge, it's a good drive. Held up on the line. Possession's there, but that was spirited effort by Wales. They're not throwing the towel in. There's a storming run by Paul Moriarty. And Richie Collins is receiving injury attention.
And it just shows that the New Zealanders they're not invincible when you run at them, and that was good play by the Welsh team, but unfortunately they've had little enough possession, good steady possession in the first half to enable them to run. And here you see Moriarty really taking a leaf out of the New Zealand book by keeping the ball available. He's keeping driving, he's keeping pumping his legs, and the whole of the Welsh pack coming in behind. And even I think Robert Jones lends his sort of weight to it now. But it just shows that, you know, they're not invincible, these All Blacks, but one thing you have to do is be positive and run at them as the Welsh did then.
As yet, really, no one has had the opportunity to do that, deprived of possession. In the meantime, Judah Jones there with Richie Collins. As we come up to 5 minutes of injury time. And New Zealand 27, Wales 0. This would be yet another bitter blow, it seems, with Steve Sutton poised to come on as his replacement and certainly add a physical presence. And how cruel has been the chapter of injuries that has been unrelenting for Wales from the very start of this tournament. And, well, I think the picture of Richie Collins says it all. Steve Sutton is still on the sideline. They have to get the doctor's opinion, and that's why Wales are being motored backwards by the 8-man scrum versus 7. Ian Evans in all bother on the halfway. Recovers well. The referee says play on because the ball was in the loose. And it's back to Kirk. Fox. Back goes Ian Evans to Wales 22. Looks at the counter-attack chance. But the pass is loose for Hadley. On the bounce. The ship and chase. Another good recovery. As Guy Moret on this near side urgently summons the referee as Richie Collins becomes the next in line to have to retire to the bench. And Phil Davies too is left way back upfield from where that 7-man scrummage took on unavailingly the All Black 8.
All the time in the world for the New Zealand halfbacks as Grant Fogg just chips that ball into no man's land. But Ian Evans did extremely well here, but unfortunately this pass doesn't go to hand. But Adrian Hadley still has the opportunity to gather the ball and challenge John Kirwan for possibly the first time in the whole tournament that anybody has run at Kirwan. And yet when things aren't running for you, that goes into touch. If it's going for you, it would have come straight into his hand.
Phil Davies happily back on his feet. Steve Sutton comes on to win his 8th cap, the man who's made the remarkable comeback to international rugby this season after a gap of some 5 years. We'll wait to see how they structure their positioning. It's another body blow for Wales. 27-0 it stands. We've now played 7 minutes of injury time at the end of this first half, in which the All Black jersey has been rampant, and Sutton in to separate the warring factions, and a timely moment for Kerry Fitzgerald to blow for half-time, and a half that has seen the Black Marauders dominate and rule in this semi-final. Wales, an onslaught from the start. It was only 3.5 minutes before New Zealand had the first try on the board, and then a follow-up within a couple of minutes of that, and so the pattern has continued. Wales with brave moments of possession to try and counter, but it really has been one-way traffic. Referee Kerry Fitzgerald looks to both teams, and the second half about to get underway. Well, that's not just an Everest that Wales have to climb now, it's the whole range of mountains, and at this stage they look to be unconquerable. But they have heart. Blevin Bowen to Ian Evans. Back comes Grant Fox, leaves it for Gallagher. But even then, it looks as though it's an offside decision against Wales.
Yes, I think the decision went against Steve Sutton, the replacement second row. He's obviously very eager to get into this match.
Points for Grant Fox in the World Cup. An immaculate display of place kicking today. 5 out of 5. Gary Whetton, twins. Alan has supported him so well since arriving in the All Blacks team. Gary Whetton the most caps of all the players on the field, with 27 appearances now for New Zealand, starting back in the flower bomb match of the All Black Springbok series of 81. Even at close quarters, the marauding Blacks. Kirk. Ian Evans did well to knock the ball from his hands. Scrum is just beyond the 10-metre line. New Zealand 27, Wales 0. Ominous reading that makes. The last of the four home union sides to survive. Pressure again on Robert Jones. A superb recovery by Jonathan Davies. He'll take heart from the fact that there's wind in his favour in the second half. And Sutton and Moriarty, the middle of the line. 5 and 19. Tripped up by Robert Jones on the reverse pass. Ledin Bowen trying to force a way through. Good support from Paul Moriarty. Jonathan Davies now. Davies, a real touch of class, and out to Hadley. Hadley has men inside. Richard Moriarty, but it just is so cruel for Wales. The pass marginally forward as Wales captain looks set to speed home for an opening score.
Well, that'll give them a lot of encouragement there, that it was a super run by Jonathan Davies, that he exploited the New Zealanders' weaknesses on the blind side there, and with a little bit more luck, they would have knocked the first try.
Moriarty surprised. There he is, reverting to the flankers role in place of Richie Collins. And that was the touch that we've been looking for from Jonathan Davies. Kevin Phillips. Moriarty. Won by the Blacks again. Grant Fox. Thorburn waits. Goes for the long touch fine, but it's way, way short, and Kirwan has a bit of room with Gallagher in support. There's the fullback. Moriarty covering well. But never a man alone in an all-black jersey.
I was going to make exactly the same point, that every time they put a kick down the field, 6, 7 of them chase, and this quick throw in here taken by the All Blacks.
Through offside is Gary Whetton. And Robert Jones.
Here we see it here, that the ball actually goes forward. Gary Whetton, probably in an offside position, I think, picks the ball up. And here it's Robert Jones. Whetton trying to kick his way out of the tackle is when Jones gets injured. But if ever a player has played his guts out for his country, it's Robert Jones. That he's been on the receiving end this afternoon, getting poor scrummage ball, poor line-out ball, and it must be a worry to Tony Gray, the Welsh coach. But just remember that Robert Jones had an outstanding game against England on Monday, and he'll go back to Wales a far better player than he came over.
A 21-year-old still, and a man of immense courage and skill. Happily, the young scrum half back on his feet. So the penalty kick. Jonathan Davies wings it down the touchline. Six minutes played of the second half. 4 tries to 0, 27 points to 0. Kirk. It's rare for him to feel the pressure. Scrum half who goes up to Oxford next term, having delayed his Rhodes Scholarship for a year. What an asset he will be, New Zealand captain. Three-man line for Wales. Sutton at the front, and then the two Moriartys. Whetton it was who got the tap. Kirk. And on drives McDowell, collared by David Young. Sutton to recover it, did well. Inside to Phil Davies, and yet again Wales deprived with the touch flag up from Fred Howard. Sutton falling upon the pool now, South Wales police. Meters outside the All Blacks 22. Just. Even then, with Wales looking to win it back, it's Shelford now. Takes on Moriarty, gets support from Brooke-Cowden. Whetton Jr. in support as well, and this is McDowell, the prop, on the rampage, but finally knocked on.
The relentless pressure again from the All Blacks that nothing fancy at all, that they drive into the Welsh midfield backs, and it means that Jonathan Davies and Robert Jones are having to tackle these big, raw-boned forwards.
I think Kirk eased his way offside, indeed. And what relief for the Welsh forwards to get up and see the penalty kick in their favour. Jonathan Davies to kick for position. Fine kick. From Waikato, Brian Lahore. Performed such great deeds himself in All Black colours, and here witnessing the arrival of another great All Blacks team. Wayne Shelford there. Murray Pearce. And Wales infringe. New Zealand supporters will be looking to the record books for a biggest ever All Black victory in a match against the home nations or the international board countries, which stands at 38-3 against Australia in Auckland in 72. But that was brilliantly away by Robert Jones in the meantime, and Wales have other ideas. Moriarty. Just short of the halfway line. But it's worked back New Zealand's way. Midfield, Fox, Kirwan, interception by Paul Thorburn. Support comes in from Kevin Phillips. They have it out, Jonathan Davies. Pumps it away, Gallagher covers, but the ball for once rolls Wales' way. So can they capitalise on this position now? Metres out from New Zealand's goal line. Unchallenged was Wayne Shelford. And over eager, Wales come around offside, Sutton is penalised. It is dismay. Position lost.
The discipline of the All Blacks that you have to admire, that they just carry on doing exactly the same thing, nothing fancy, and always making certain that you're playing under pressure and forcing the opposition to make mistakes.
New Zealand's 10-metre line, down to Kirk, Fox, Shelford. He really has been a man mountain. Kirk again to Fox, Warwick Taylor, Stanley. This time a bit of indecision. Warwick Taylor in support. Grant Fox again. Content to leave it to the Black Hordes up front. Set back for Kirk. That was well read by Thorburn, who came through so fast and deprived New Zealand of a powerful attacking situation. But with performances like these, we wonder not why it is that the All Blacks have won 38 of 47 tests against the home unions. Paul Moriarty, in the meantime, is the injured player. 38 out of 47, and only have ever lost 6 tests against the home countries.
Yes, I think it's the style of rugby that they play. The provincial rugby is very hard, it's very competitive. Brian Lahore there. They have coaches who are brought up in a hard school of rugby. And here's Steve Sutton now just saying to the Welsh lads, come on lads, let's give it a go now. We've got a bit of pride to play for. And these players will go back to Wales. There'll be better players for them. And the last thing that they'll want now is for young Paul Moriarty to come off the field, because he's been one of the Welsh players who've really given it all. He's continued to tackle hordes of the All Blacks, and also, when he's had the ball, run straight and hard at them.
22 still immense potential to be realised. Phil Davis, 23. And a very young back division 2. Oldest player at 25. And this is Devereux, Hadley, Ian Evans. Has he the pace? This could be a sparkling score for Wales. Hadley! Ian Evans deprived in the corner. Right on the corner flag. Superbly set up by the 2 wingers. Hadley the man to feed on. Ian Evans so close.
And here it is, Ian Evans, but just look for the covering that John Kirwan. He's come across about 75 yards from the other wing. That Evans, it looks as all he's got to do is dive in, and perhaps if he'd launched himself here, rather wait half the yard, then he could well have got him. But a fantastic covering tackle by John Kirwan, who'd read the situation so well. But a great move by the Welsh. They did a missed move and brought the fullback in, and it just shows how dangerous they could have been if they just had a little bit more ball.
There's that the message of Jonathan Davis at half-time. If you get the ball, lads, just give it to us. In the meantime, Joe Stanley is requiring attention. Truck driver from Auckland. So for Clive Rowlands there, and Tony Gray, Alan Phillips behind them. Some genuine encouragement from that sterling effort. So nearly saw Ian Evans make it in the corner, but that was a tackle by Kirwan to remember. So the line out on the very goal line. Sutton trying to force his way through, is held up. The ball should be there for Wales. Phillips helping to get out. Jonathan Davis, Devereux through! They deserve it. And Wales with the chance to run at New Zealand show what can be achieved. A try of great courage.
And a lovely ball from Robert Jones. And you notice how Jonathan Davis looks as though he's going to loop round. The New Zealanders expect him to loop round, but John Devereux straightens the line-up, and it just shows that these All Blacks are not invincible if that you run at them.
So that will raise the hopes. The leeway is still enormous, but psychologically that was a boost. Thorburn with the conversion. 27-6. A quarter of an hour gone of this second half. And The attacking ability of Wales was shown here as Devereux added to the try he scored on this ground against England in the quarter-final by running at the midfield, splitting them asunder. Great score. So for the first time in the match, New Zealand challenged. The wedge form. The drive in the ball. On goes McDowell. Up to the 22 to Patrick. The All Blacks try to come back in characteristic style.
And if in doubt, they just revert to everything that they normally do, driving the ball in the forwards, and unfortunately it looks as though that young David Young has taken a bit of a knock there. What a baptism in international rugby that he's had. He played against England on Monday and now against the All Blacks on Sunday. In the space of a week, 2 internationals for a young 19-year-old. That must be hard work indeed for him.
A year out of Welsh Youth Rugby. It's product of Aberdare Comprehensive. Just 19, David Young at Swansea. You can perhaps catch the chants going round the ground. The loyal Welsh supporters here in their hundreds, and no doubt there were quite a few more who came out at the last minute, having realised Wales had made it to the semi-final. There's All Black power. Robert Jones just having to take the stick. And Sutton having none of it. There's Gary Whetton. Challenges him. About 7-8 metres out from the Wales goal line. Well, at least the All Blacks' pride has been stung. Still screwing round uncontrollably.
It's obviously there's a fair bit of niggle getting into the game now. You can see Brooke-Cowden there is having a bit of a go, that Phillips can't get his head in, and obviously the tensions are rising now in these 2 front rows.
That close to Wales goal line. 19 minutes into the second half. Shelford not gathering it this time, and I think was unsighted insofar as it looked to knock it on, but Wales in any case have got a penalty. And yet again, Welsh players in the wars. Kevin Phillips, the one to stay down on the deck as Hugh Richards gets to his feet laboriously. And Richard Moriarty, Wales captain.
The All Blacks have been very physical indeed, and we see just how dangerous they are at these scrums, because they don't delay the ball, that they just delay the push, that they just get on with it straight away. And there we see the actual ball held there by the All Blacks, coming in from an offside position. The referee on the spot to quite rightly give Wales the penalty.
Against Alan Whetton. And Buchanan still receiving attention. Phillips back on his feet.
Kiwis rule, I don't think anybody will argue with that at the moment.
Jonathan Davis then to kick Wales out of trouble again. We're into the last quarter of the match. The semi-final here at Ballymore in Brisbane. New Zealand 27, Wales 6. But a spirited response this has been by Wales in the second half. It was 27-0 at half-time, so Wales the only points since then. New Zealand perhaps feeling some frustration now as Wales have come back to keep them out. Work back to Kirk. Kirk trying to get to himself, clung to by Jonathan Davies. Back to the 22. The front row spearhead again. Kirk, but a whistle goes. A wry smile from David Kirk.
If you just look at the mobility of the front row players, but how often at home would you see somebody like a loose head prop like McDowell has done for the All Blacks, getting the ball and driving 20, 30 yards, and an injury there to the big All Black lock, Murray Pearce.
Yes, I mean, this was, again, classic play. McDowell was the forward. There's mobility as well as strength. And at least 2-3 men taken out.
And they always make the ball available. It must be so easy for a scrum half to play behind the New Zealand pack, because they always drive forward.
Must be a dream. The cheerleaders on the terrace. As New Zealand come again, Shelford to Kirk. Craig Green, solid tackling again, but the support is there, and the try comes at last. Alan Whetton, the scorer. And that keeps up a remarkable record for this flanker, who has now scored in every game.
And it was a pick-up, really, by Shelford, going on the blind side. David Kirk, and look how Craig Green makes the ball available. He turns his body, and Alan Whetton, like a good back row forward, there in support. And really, once he picked that up, the try was a formality.
5 tries off the reel, 1 in each round of this World Cup so far for Alan Whetton. And that might be the one to break the resistance. 31 points to 6. Grant Fox has yet to miss the conversion. Just an early penalty goal attempt that hit the post. But the 100% record goes that New Zealand's score moves up from this seemingly inevitable response to the pressure. The pick-up by Alan Whetton. And try number 5. Gary Weston. Phil Davis in the tap, only to rebound New Zealand's way. Kirk. Thorburn waits. But the wind carried it out on the full. Brooke-Cowden there. Behind him, Whetton. Wayne Shelford through to win back invaluable possession, and just look at the number 8. And away by Kirk. Fox, Warwick Taylor, straight through to Gallagher, the fullback, onto Craig Green. No advantage from the knock-on. And that was classic number 8 play, the way he won back possession, Shelford, and then to see what he did with it.
Yes, it looked as though it was going to be Robert Jones's ball, but Shelford down on it, picked it up, and where lots of players would be content just to lie there, he's immediately on his feet and he goes 20, 30 yards up the field.
Just outside Wales 22. With about 13 minutes to go plus injury time. 31-6, New Zealand leads. Jonathan Davies looks for the chance, but it's Gallagher who takes it. The fullback with tremendous speed to Whetton. Stops on Wales 22. And for the Wales defenders, it must look like a haze of black jerseys descending upon them.
Come on, let's put the weight in.
But it has to be said, not the same dominance in the second half, at which on points Wales have actually done the better. New Zealand still with plenty of power and unrealised potential. Shelford as the whole pack go over the top. Fox, the switch to Stanley. Stanley! Yes! The old man of the backs, Joe Stanley, with an immense power run here. The timing of it was so effective that took him past 2 defenders, and then the momentum so great it was unstoppable. Under the post and over the bar by Grant Fox.
And here we have the scissors move here. Joe Stanley, there's no way that you can stop this guy by going high. You've got to take him early, and he must be 13.5 stone, 14 stone. In actual fact, it looked as though he almost dropped the ball there before the line, but the referee has awarded it. Classic all-back play, as they drive up the middle a couple of times, stuck in the defence, and then bang, away he goes.
So New Zealand now within striking distance of the biggest ever winning margin against an international board country. We'll discount the early games of the World Cup against Italy and Fiji, where they tallied over 70 points a game. But here they're 37 points to 6 with about 11 minutes remaining. Their biggest ever win in 1972 at Eden Park. 38-3 against Australia. But Wales will not give up. Robert Jones to Paul Moriarty, on to Buchanan. Back again, beautifully picked up by Jones. Let him go in contest. Alan Whetton wins it back. Kirk makes a mistake. Tries to 1, 37 points to 6, 10 minutes to go in this semi-final. Through went Murray Pierce, back to David Kirk. Well, thought he stepped out of the 22, but it's not gone out on the full in any case. Thorburn puts up the Gary Owen, and the useful one as a rare handling error creeps in. I watched the All Blacks training. There's the happy man, Brian Lahore. The All Blacks training in which they went at full tilt for 50 minutes and only 3 passes hit the ground in that whole period. Breaking off is McDowell. What about that for a run by a prop forward? McDowell into Thorburn. Moriarty in the meantime. Paul is left injured inside New Zealand's half. Wales are judged offside. And will New Zealand go for 3 points? Not the world's most popular decision.
No, that's right. I think they could well have run that one, but it's a hard school that they brought up in New Zealand. The only one thing that they're bothered about is winning this game. And if they're happy to get another 3 points and then just start all over again, that's the name of the game in New Zealand rugby.
So 37-6 it stands with about 8 minutes of injury time to go. 6 out of 8. 75% a very acceptable kicking record. Grant Fox, head on to the post. .13 points off his boot so far. But it'll stay at that. Drifting to the right. And that's how it stands with 8 minutes remaining. Cleverly placed. Unfortunately, Paul Moriarty couldn't hold it. The referee plays advantage. And none comes as Fox is felled by the younger flanker. So they're back to the scrummage. Shelford. The power of this back row. Whetton. The wedge forms, it's still Whetton. Allen, the flanker. Kirwan. Held by Thorburn. Thorburn not happy at the way he was clung to. This is Gallagher. Still valiant defence, right on the line. Through goes Brooke-Cowden. Try awarded. Mark Brooke-Cowden, his first World Cup match. The man to take over from the extraordinary talents of Michael Jones as the pressure came and came and came. Gallagher was held by Jones and by Hadley. Thorburn had done his best, but Brooke-Cowden was through. No one was left.
No, it's ball retention that's the name of the day. That's why New Zealand can keep you under pressure. And just look how he fights his way and a couple of tackles there to score a good try. But it's really how they just pressure and pressurise the opposition. They keep the ball available. If in doubt, they always drive on that extra couple of yards.
So here's a kick that could give New Zealand their biggest margin of victory if it were to stay the same or to level it. Now, at 35 points, this could make it 37 points. Our biggest ever winning points margin for New Zealand if that score stayed the same. And over it goes, straight as a die. So an advantage of 37 points. To exceed that at the end of the game anyway, then they totted up in victory over Australia in 72. And that also exceeds their highest score ever against an international board country. And the record that England will very happily see, delighted to see the back of, 42-15 in Wellington in 85. It's 43-6 now. And I wonder what the Welsh can bring back in these last moments. And Hugh Richards losing his cool as tempers frayed, a punch-up start as Hugh Richards was in a punch-up with Gary Whetton. And this is something that has very much been an absent, happily, part of the World Cup rugby, and we could have done without this. In goes Buchanan, and down goes Buchanan. And Hugh Richards too.
Well, certainly, Fitzgerald came into it there, and certainly I think it was 6 of one and half a dozen of the other between Gary Whetton and Hugh Richards there, that obviously that they were slinging one or two punches, and I don't know whether the referee has actually pointed towards the dressing room, but it could well be that he's actually sending Hugh Richards off the field.
A clear decision, and Hugh Richards has been sent off. The first in the World Cup.
Well, I'm surprised that the referee's actually sent him off and given the penalty now to the All Blacks, but it looks as though it was 6 of one and half dozen another between Whetton and Richards there.
Well, a very sad moment indeed in this World Cup for Hugh Richards to be sent off by referee Kerry Fitzgerald with just 3 minutes remaining. But it was blatant and open, and frankly, I suppose it was a case of sending one off or both off. The referee decided that Hugh Richards was the guilty party, and he has been sent to the dressing room, sent off in the World Cup. Robert Jones. So at the end of it all, there'll be a bitter taste. Jonathan Davies fell. And what a tragedy it had to spill over in this way. New Zealand come again. Gallagher held by Thorburn. Brooke-Cowden. So 14-man Wales to try and live out these last minutes. Grant Fox. Warwick Taylor recovers it. Back to Kirk. Fox. Stanley. Man over here. Kirwan. Craig Green. Again, valiant tackling. Still in play, though, but a whistle's gone.
Great defence by the Welsh there. That's certainly that they're not giving up now. But they've now faced with a scrum on their own line. They've only got 7 men against a rampant New Zealand pack, and push-over try for New Zealand certainly looks the order of the day as we wait for the injury to Joe Stanley, the All Black centre.
Well, a tragedy, Bill, that as we watch the replay of that last build-up and another near try by New Zealand, that it should have ended with this inevitable cloud.
Yes, I think as we see Craig Green here sort of bundled into touch, that the last thing I think that anybody would like to remember from this magnificent display by the All Blacks, because they have played extremely well this afternoon, and full credit also to the Welsh team that they've kept going, that they've tried, that they were beset by injury problems before the kick-off. They always do, they're up against it, that people will tend to remember this game for the dismissal of the Welsh second row, Hugh Richards, and there's a bit of a niggle with Gary Whetton, and whilst Richards might have started it, certainly 1 or 2 punches were flung, and it could well have sent 2 off.
So the man who was injured earlier in the game looks as though he's taking his leave, Joe Stanley, as New Zealand bring Craig Green into the centre in his place. So both sides separately with 14 men, and Wales in dire straits again as Giant Evans touches down. And New Zealand have withdrawn Mark Brooke-Cowden to put him out on the wing. Green in the centre, and Stanley makes his way to the dressing room. With, of course, the World Cup final in sight in a week's time. Again, New Zealand drive on, go for the second pushover. Shelford as easy as that. So depleted Wales, but a 7-man New Zealand pack as well.
It's as easy as shelling peas there for Wayne Shelford. Welsh scrum under a lot of pressure there. You can see how the New Zealanders have swiveled them slightly to make it easier for Shelford, with no wing forward there to tackle him.
He started the scoring, and maybe that's the last try, as Bernie McCahill of Auckland, yet another Aucklander, prepares to take the place of Joe Stanley for his second cap. So records with every score increase. 47 points to 6 as New Zealand keep the tally rolling. Grant Fox. That's some kick. In injury time, nearly 2 minutes played, and one short of the half century. It could scarcely be more emphatic. And all that stands in their way now is France at Eden Park. 17 points for Grant Fox to add to his 92 in the 4 previous matches. Well, they've every cause for celebration. And Richard Moriarty, I'm sure, will be one to admire the skills of the All Blacks. Tony Gray and Clive Rowlands too. This particular Everest has proved unconquerable. Of course, by the same token of a biggest winning points margin for New Zealand, it almost goes without saying it's the biggest losing points margin for Wales by a streak. Go back to 1896 when they lost 25-0 to England and 35-10 in 24 to Scotland. Now they're 43 points adrift, and it may not have finished yet. Alan Whetton to Murray Pierce, halfway line. Play as you please. Craig Green, the replacement for Cahill, but running out of space on that far touchline.
Just even with them leading by this record margin, they still play exactly the same way. They drive up the middle, they commit the midfield defence, and then they move it out wide, always having players in support.
At times almost like a machine, like automata. Wales three-man line. To their credit, they've never raised a white flag. Here they come again. Devereux, the try scorer. The one moment of consolation. Moriarty, the captain. They've just simply been outplayed. A young, inexperienced, some senses even a makeshift side through injury. Kirk, Grant Fox, Craig Green, Wayne Shelford, and there's a further injury stoppage as 14-man Wales see out time. Richard Moriarty, their captain, with 5 minutes now of injury time gone at the end of this semi-final. And a ruthless display that's seen Wales' challenge brushed aside really from the opening moments. Times seemingly almost contemptuous. Just the one period when Wales got into the game in the early part of the second half, when they managed to keep New Zealand out and indeed score themselves, before New Zealand upped the tempo again, and in the last quarter have carried on where they were for most of the first half. Players distracted by some sort of goings-on up on the terrace behind the Welsh goal. The play resumed, 6 minutes of injury time gone, 49-6. New Zealand perhaps looking for 50. And here they are, Warwick Taylor. Still some brave efforts from Bowen and Thorburn. Support though from McDowell, a player in the front row who have caught the eye on the loose for certain. Kirk, Fox, Green, Kirwan. McCahill bounced out by Jonathan Davies and by Hadley.
Yes, brave defence again by Wales, but they haven't let the heads drop. They kept trying right until the end, but this All Black machine is just too powerful for anybody.
Right on Wales' goal line. Loose for Jones. Kevin Phillips to the rescue. 7 minutes of injury time we've now played. And a scrummage yet to face, with Jonathan Davies recoiling from that brave shoulder charge in the corner as the 7-man Welsh pack have to feel the power again. Rolling off goes Alan Whetton. David Kirk, the captain. The final play of the match. New Zealand 49, Wales 6. And that in itself, of course, a record victory for New Zealand, a record defeat for Wales. It was never in doubt, really, from the early moments of the game, as New Zealand took it by the scruff of the neck and produced a vintage display of power and skill to brush Wales aside. Their effort was all you could ask of valiant defence, and one moment to savour when Devereux rounded off a period of Welsh pressure with a try. But this was New Zealand, and now a final against France, and it'll be a mighty sight that downs the colours of these men.